Greetings, Earthlings and Possum friends of Offensive Points and the Fantasy Six Pack channel. We are Offensive Points, and today we are doing our free agency frenzy analysis. Hit it. All right, guys, a lot of guys on new teams now, a lot of opportunity on teams where guys have left, and some screwball shit from the Baltimore Ravens. I'm excited to discuss this today. Josh, Billy, what's up?
You know, it's just fun watching names and players getting traded around and signed to new teams, and it's just gets reinvigorates some franchises, maybe messes up a couple other franchises, but I'm just excited to see where these teams end up, and honestly, this just kind of gives us a little bit more idea of what's going to actually happen in the NFL draft in just a few weeks. So excited to see.
Best time of the year.
It is pretty fun when that Monday noon window starts. It's almost like, busting out all of the games, but that noon window opens for the legal tampering, and then it's just free flying. Everybody's getting deals left and right.
It was a bit slow.
This wasn't a stellar class just because like Pickens got tagged last second in the scheme of things. Breece Hall got tagged, Pitts got tagged. Like we were kind of like hoping it would be a little bit more excitement as far as like those bigger names, but there was still plenty to talk about. We've got at least 28 to talk about. So I say without further ado, let's just get into it. We got a lot to talk about here. So let's start with the most obvious piece, and that is the Super Bowl MVP himself, Ken Walker, signs with the Chiefs, 3 years, $43 million, $28 million guaranteed. Pacheco off the team. This is a Walker-first backfield. Guys, what did we think as soon as we saw that he was going to Pat Mahomes and the boys?
Good for him, man. MVP running back sounds a hell of a lot better than often injured running back, and that's what the Chiefs got. I mean, I love Kenneth Walker. He's awesome when he's out there playing, and I'm excited to see him with the Chiefs. We'll see if Pat Mahomes is healthy, but part of that offense, we know what Andy Reid running backs have done in the past, and Kenneth Walker fits the LaShawn McCoy mold perfectly. So let's get some more LaShawn McCoy action on this team.
Yeah, I'm honestly I'm just stoked for them to finally have a running back. I kind of hate it for a anti-Chiefs propaganda person, but it is really interesting. Now, are they going to use a true running back finally? I mean, they definitely had this weird nickel and dime approach last year with Kareem Hunt and Pacheco and Rashid Smith, but it was never like a true run game. It was more of just we should do it to make the pass game easier, right? That'll work, but. So I'm excited to see. I'd hate to see Jeremiah Love get drafted here right afterwards, and Ken Walker's like, I finally got out of the shadow of Charbonnet or Charbonnet's shadow behind me, and then just have it turn around and just do it again. So hopefully this really truly is Kenneth Walker's backfield, and we get to see him shine. Could be a really fun, kind of pop to the pass game as well. So this whole team could go up from this. So.
I definitely think they're still going to draft a running back in the draft. I just don't think we had kind of thought it was going to be Love, and I kind of scratched them out with pencil as far as not going to take Love, but I'm still at the same time, if you had both of them, what does that look like? But the Chiefs have a couple more holes they still need to fill, so I'm kind of hoping they go that direction and then take one of these other guys later to maybe work with Ken Walker. They haven't really – I don't even remember – if they've ever taken a guy in the first round back-wise. I don't think Jamal Charles was a first-round guy. Oh, that's right. Oh, I forgot about the worst bust in running back fantasy history probably. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. I like this for the Chiefs. I think they finally got a guy. I think let's just go back to the one dude system here. Let's just have Mahomes, Ken Walker, Travis Kelce.
Rashid Smith's a great spell for him too. It can be a good little pass catching guy to come in on when Ken Walker's ran 40 yards down the field. And I don't want to say hate, but a lot of negativity surrounding this contract because of the injuries or whatever. This is clearly or literally the Super Bowl MVP from just a couple months ago. People are so quick to be like, that was a bad signing. And I'm like, but yet they praise some of these other signings, which we'll get into soon. And I'm just like, Ken Walker's a great running back. He deserves this contract and has more than proven himself in the NFL. So happy for him.
Ken Walker's amazing, but we're talking about a guy that's never finished as a top 15 running back in fantasy. He's getting paid top 4 money in the NFL, so we would expect a huge workload coming his way. My question is, going into drafts, he's going to be a top 24 pick going into drafts
probably
with this contract. And how comfortable are you guys with that? I mean, we know Patrick Mahomes probably isn't playing the first half of the season. Chiefs line definitely leaves a lot to be desired, and we don't know exactly how they plan to use him outside of the fact that they just backed up the Brinks truck to him. So we would assume it would be a lot of work, but I don't know. There's a lot of question marks here.
Those things that you're saying is exactly what I'm talking about. He hasn't finished as a top 15 running back. He's had Ken Walker or Charbonnet in the backfield with him
for 2 years.
3 years.
Okay.
That's the majority of his career. So, I'd say that, he's done just fine. I mean, he played all games last year, so oft injured. Missed a couple games his first 2 seasons, oft injured. Missed 6 games his 3rd season, oft injured. It's just so, I hate when people put this injury-prone task on this. It's like he's just, getting injured every year. He played the majority of his games.
Yeah, I'm a piece of shit, Joe. I get it. I've had Kenneth Walker. I was the Kenneth Walker truther. I was like, everyone go get Kenneth Walker. He looked awesome coming out of Michigan State.
No.
Looked amazing.
I've
had Kenneth Walker on my teams for the last 4 years. I'm addicted to drafting this dude. And now I'm just kind of like, he finally has a shot. Hooray.
You got him last year. You didn't get the top 10 production you were expecting. He was a running back too. It sucks sometimes, but he did have a great playoff run, and it's great to see for this team. For the team and for fantasy, I think it's fine. I mean, you're not going to draft
until Kareem Hunt gets 12 touchdowns, and then I don't know.
It can't happen. I hope it does. Second round, I don't feel comfortable taking him. Third round, I probably won't, but I'm not going to be mad if somebody does. 4th round, I'd feel like, okay, I got a slam dunk, take Ken Walker there. But we'll see what happens.
I haven't done rankings in a while, but Joe, you said something like running hasn't finished above running back 15. That's about where I project him. Running back 15. I'd put him in that Chase Brown category.
I'm very excited for this signing. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here because, everyone's like Kenneth Walker, the moon. And I'm seeing him in at 14 probably in rankings next year. And I'm just like, I don't
14 overall or 14 in art running back?
Yeah, everyone loves the Andy Reid, the Patrick Mahomes offense. Everyone's going to fall for this. It's going to be, and it's fine. It might work. I'm just seeing him go from 14 to 20. And I'm like, I don't know. It's a little sketchy.
Joe, is it because he turns 26 this year?
No, actually 26 is a good age. It's at 26.8 where I start falling off.
He's moved up in his older age to make it
next year.
27 is now the cutoff. Okay. Yeah, I like the Ken Walker signing. I'm hoping to grab him. The draft is going to kind of depend here because if they draft Love, then all of that goes up into smoke. But let's hope the Chiefs have a better head on their shoulders. But we'll see. All right. Second biggest name to headline the running back class was Travis Etienne. He heads from Jacksonville to the New Orleans Saints on a 4-year, $52 million deal. Alvin Kamara still currently on the roster. Joe, how comfortable do you feel taking Travis Etienne? I'm gonna leave the homer down for a second. I'll let Joe have a more rational take.
Oh, Travis Etienne in this offense is awesome. I think they did a great job of taking what Tyler Shuck did last year and getting him a running back that's going to help him a lot as he transfers into year 2. We know they still have openings at wide receiver, but this offense should be very fun to watch, and Travis Etienne should get all of the work in this offense. He's the 7th highest paid running back in the NFL based on averages right now. We'll see what happens with Kamara, but I mean, even if he sticks around, it could only help. We know Devin Neal ain't it. Kendre Miller can't stay healthy. So spread your wings, Travis Etienne, and fly, because this guy has been awesome every year except for 1 year of his career. And everyone wrote him off. And now he's on a brand new team, and he will be the featured piece in this offense. Very excited to watch it.
Yeah, I think I'm more excited about Etienne in Dynasty than I am in redraft because of that Kamara lingering around aspect. Now that might play into some stock that you can get him for cheaper and say, well, Kamara's still there, he's still decent at least, and decent enough to take carries away. It's so funny that rumors were coming out after. Are they going to trade Kamara? Yeah, no shit, they're going to get rid of Kamara. Like, is that not clear? I mean, whether it's this year or trade deadline or prior to the season even starting, it's inevitable at this point. This is clearly the writing on the wall for Kamara being done. I know he said something about a no trade clause. I'm wondering if he'll waive that now, seeing that they have someone else locked up for running back. But at the end of the day, this is Etienne's future backfield. And like Joe said, there's no one else behind this. I mean, unless they go out in the draft and really get someone. I like Devin Neal as a running back, but he did not look good last year. And Kendrick Miller's fun in splashes, but I think he's more of a second guy at this point. So clearly they invested in Etienne for a reason.
Yeah, I don't mind the signing at all. I think this is a great building block. I still don't see the Saints being very good next year, but bad teams still put up fantasy points. So I think this is going to be a good spot for him to get in and get work. We'll see. Maybe Shuck comes out of – he was good last year. I'm not going to take away what Shuck did. I know I'm a Shuck hater, but I'm not going to take away what he did. It would surprise me, though, if they're competing for anything meaningful next season in the NFC South. I still think
that division's pretty crapshooty. It's possible.
They are, but I don't know. I would just be surprised if it was the Saints out of all four teams that comes out on top. But we'll see. Who knows? Maybe new team. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's all different than what I think it's going to be. But I don't know. We'll see.
I will say this is one of the
good spot.
Sorry. I was going to say this is one of the ones that shocked me the most, mainly because they're just getting out of this ridiculous behemoth contract with Kamara. I didn't expect them to invest in a heavily paid running back. I really assumed that they were going to hit this in the draft. Like, this was my love landing spot if it made it to them. Thought they would do that instead. Just start with a rookie. You don't pay them for 4 years. I mean, they get paid, but do they get paid really comparatively? But yeah, to go get a $12 million a year, $13 million a year running back was ballsy of them. But at the end of the day, like, running backs win football games. I think people are finally waking up to that. It's not just the 5,000-yard passers that win it.
Yeah. And just two thoughts on this. I mean, I love the fact that it is the NFC South because he gets to face the Falcons and the Buccaneers twice a year, the Falconeers. And then the other thing is, I mean, I think these teams have showed you what they think about the running back class, A, and B, the fact that Love is not making it to the Chiefs or the Saints. It's going to be the Commanders or the Titans. So we'll see come draft time.
Yeah, it's making me a little – I'm not going to say nervous for Love, but you just feel like then they know somebody is taking him definitely before, like, he makes it to the Chiefs, for example. Because, like, why wouldn't the Chiefs just take the cheaper option and take the running back? Unless they just don't believe in that as a team, which is a whole other thing. But I don't know. It makes me a little nervous for what the Love evaluation is here. If two teams that desperately needed running backs are just like, nope, not going to take them in this draft. So
I guess it really is first, or not first draft, but one of those drafts where there's really not a number two that jumps in that value of great. We got the excellent category and the Bijans and the Jeremiah Loves. There's no like great or good or
There's no like Hampton who's gonna rose as through the draft. There's nothing like that coming. It doesn't look like, at least.
I mean, there's probably some diamonds in the rough at the end of the day, but it's like more of a crapshoot, coin flip. So.
Yeah, they went and got their guy, which, I mean, I appreciate. The question is, in drafts, where is this dude going? Because, I mean, this is a hell of a contract, and there's no one else there. I doubt it even – Kamara's not going to stick around, let's be real. But
no, and I doubt they even draft a guy because they still have Neal. They still have Kendrick Miller. Like, I don't see why you would need – I mean, maybe somebody like 6th, 7th round, but, like, not somebody who's actually going to get in the game. So, I mean – he's going to get a ton of work. I'm trying to think if I like him more than Ken Walker, but Ken Walker's probably going to have more opportunities for touchdowns, whereas like the Saints are going to be winning a lot of games if they are winning by, maybe with 3 touchdowns total in the game.
I think Travis Etienne at least would land kind of in that end of 2nd round, 3rd turn right there, like the 25 mark, putting him at like the 12th, running back 12 or something like that. I would probably say I think he's slightly higher than
Yeah. I mean, Etienne just on face value has been a more effective receiver than Kenneth Walker in his career thus far. So it'll be interesting with New Orleans if they continue to use him like that, or if Kenneth Walker gets more chance with the Chiefs. We kind of saw Pacheco have that year where he caught the ball a ton and then that kind of went away. So I don't know. I'm kind of leaning the Etienne thing as well, but it'll be exciting if you can get a value on Etienne.
Yeah.
So I think Walker has that name value.
I think you're right about that. Well, and he plays for the Chiefs, which just with the Chiefs of it all, that's just even that's worth a couple of spots up just overall. All right, let's move on to our third running back, and I have it as traded to Houston running back David Montgomery. Mixon kicked out. They are done. Well, we still don't know what's happening with Mixon. I don't think we'll ever officially know. I don't think anybody's ever going to officially say what happens. I know the TikTok and Twitter sleuths keep saying that he shot himself in the foot with a gun, which is possible, but I feel like we would know about that by now. But at the same time, we don't know. However, they bring in David Montgomery from the Lions. He was unhappy there. What was your first reaction when you saw him traded to Houston, where it's still like I don't know.
I'll give you the first reaction I had. Thank God. They're going to use David Montgomery. I don't know how. I don't know in what capacity, what the split percentage looks like. I can't. Obviously, nobody can speculate at the moment. But they brought in David Montgomery to be the 1A, 1B. I don't know which one, but he's not a 2. You know what I mean? Like in Detroit last year.
Is it with Marks though?
I'd say Woody Marks and Montgomery. I mean, who else is it going to be?
That just sounds disgusting to me. I don't know. Like fantasy-wise, that just sounds gross.
I low-key like it. I think this team needs a solid like bruiser running back. We saw what Mixon did with this team, and he's not really was never known for a speed guy. He wasn't quite a bruiser either, but I think it gives them really like as lame as it is, the lightning and thunder, as they say, just gives you two different versatile running backs.
Who is lightning in that? Marks?
It's not Woody Marks.
I don't know.
I was about to say it. Just double thunder. The thunder down.
Thunder. That's fine. I didn't really think of Woody Marks as a bruiser, but maybe I'm incorrect there.
Well, he does not play lightning speed, so it's a little.
Well, Monty actually has great breakaway speed, which I'm shocked that I don't know what Detroit was doing last year, whether that was just a Ben Johnson thing with Montgomery or what, but didn't use him last year. So glad to see Montgomery be able to go to a place that seems to want him. So that's what I'm excited about.
Okay, Joe.
I love this. I mean, David Montgomery is not washed at all. We saw him, we saw Gibbs kind of take over when they got rid of Ben Johnson. And David Montgomery he should be the starting running back on a team, and he finally has that opportunity now. So when they traded for him, they got a $9 million a year guy to play for him, which is big money for running back. And this team desperately needs a solid running back. Woody Marks was fine. He got you some fantasy points last year, but let's be real. This is the NFL. He is not a lead back in the least bit. He is a 2 at best, probably better at 3. So it's Montgomery's backfield. Marks can spell him. I assume they're going to draft someone or do a veteran cut situation here. But as of right now, David Montgomery is going to be an excellent value in fantasy football drafts. The line situation in Texas is worrisome, but hopefully they do something there.
It's just funny because when you think of David Montgomery, you think of this guy who's going to get 3 yards per carry, 2 yards per carry, because he's just a goal line back, right? But this man's been averaging 4+ yards per carry every year. Even last year, he had 4.5 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns. Didn't feel like it because it felt like they just stopped using him. He did have the lowest touches he's had in his career, so makes sense. And another pass catching guy who can do it anyway, who isn't like really known for it, but still has that capability.
Okay, I don't know. I was not nearly.
You don't like Monty,
because it's not even Monty. It's just the Texans as a whole. I just don't see. I don't see how this offense is going to work. I just don't. I already feel like Stroud's going to have to refine what he did 2 years ago. I know that he's good for like 2 or 3 plays a game, and those are special plays. And then what he does with Nico is also good. But I just like didn't like at all what he did this season. And when you're saying that it is going to be maybe a running offense, I don't think that's going to work either.
I think it's going to be a great mix. I don't think there's really like a only throw or only.
I'll just say what I'm feeling. I just feel like everybody on this team is mid, except for Nico. Nico's solid, but everybody else is just a mid person, just mid at their job.
This seems like a fantasy football team that I'd build like in Madden. Like I actually really like this build.
I hope for you, but
well, you get Tank Dell hopefully coming back. Your rookie wide receivers, we've talked about this, the Higgins and Noel and Hutchinson, all them, they're all like great to have around. I think Higgins actually slots in at a number 2 already. Then you got Nico, who's your clear number 1, and you got Dalton Schultz still at tight end. Like this team is good. The line's sketchy. I think that's what it really comes down to. Stroud needs to get over some mental errors that he made in the playoffs and whatnot. That's what I'm really worried about is can CJ Stroud regain his form and not think about the ghosts that Sam Darnold saw or whatever,
B-. That's what I call this team.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking at Joe Mixon's what he did in 2024. 1,000 yards, 250 carries, 30 receptions, 12 touchdowns. I mean, the touchdowns will probably fluctuate a little bit, but I don't see any reason why Montgomery can't hit that easily with his skill set.
Okay.
Maybe I thought more this was ending up as more of a split, but maybe it really is just Monty being the number 1. Which
it might just be Monty, and maybe that would make me feel a bit better. And I don't know. I view Mixon as a better back than I did Monty at the same Mixon got there. Comparatively, he also didn't have any competition when he got there too, so that kind of helped things out. I don't know. Where are you taking him in drafts? Like this kind of scares me. What you all are talking about.
The same time, David Montgomery is always drafted in the 5th and 6th round. He's the steal of the draft every year. Usually, at least. Obviously, last year was probably the one time it wasn't. He's always valued at that 5th, 6th round value. Even when he was the lead back in Chicago, nobody wanted him. He's the
5th and 6th round. Somebody else can have him.
Oh,
you think?
Wow.
Yeah, for me.
I'm trying to think. I just drafted him in an underdog draft.
The great zero RB drafter strategy, or the guy who just wants to have a second.
Now, zero. If I did do true zero RB, I might take him in the 6th, but that would be about it.
I just got him in the 8th round in an underdog draft, so
that would be perfect. 7th, 8th round is perfect. That's it. That's where I'm aiming. But 5, 6, I'm good. I'll wait.
I'd take him in the 6th round.
Always. Montgomery's one of
if
my
I went zero RB, then yeah, I would totally do that. I don't know. We'll see though. We still have a whole draft to do, and that's kind of the other part of free agency is like this does kind of seem like steering teams in a certain direction, but at the same time, we don't know until the draft happens. But that being said, let's move on to a team that's definitely not drafting a running back. That is Rico Dowdle, headed to the Steelers on a 2-year, $12 million deal. I'm not going to lie. When I first saw this, I was like, damn it. I was really hoping he would end up somewhere where like he was a clear number 1. But I do think with him and Warren, it can still create some fantasy goodness. I don't think it's going to be quite like a Montgomery Gibbs situation, but this is like your poor man's version of that maybe.
The poor man's version of Gibbs. I would put Dowdle right up there with Monty. I mean, he's somewhere near him.
Yeah, no, I'm saying they can't create quite that, but I think they could do something around that. And I don't know. Maybe I'm not as excited right now just because I know this is for sure a split backfield, but hoping by the time the draft happens.
Who the freaking quarterback is, man. I mean, if it's Aaron Rodgers again, I don't know if they can sustain it. You know what I mean? Nobody's scared of Aaron Rodgers, although there is another wide receiver in the room, which we'll obviously get to. But I just until there's a quarterback, I can't really place this. I like the signing, end all be all. I feel like they really are a bruiser running back type. So Rico fits the bill, and Rico had an amazing season last year, albeit, half of it on the bench. So not his misgivings by any means. That'd be Carolina being dumb. So got them to the playoffs almost single-handedly. So I think Rico deserves a crack here. I don't know where to place him. I think a quarterback would help me determine that. But at the moment, I'm optimistic.
Yeah, I'm optimistic too. I mean, I think the overall consensus is that Jalen Warren is the pass catching back. I mean, Kenneth Gainwell had 70 targets last year, 70 catches actually, and that's vacated. So we're just assuming that Jalen Warren is going to be the pass catcher. Rico Dowdle, honestly, has fared pretty well as a pass catcher. That's not his strength by any means. I mean, he's more of like the bruising running back, but he can catch the ball. So if it truly is, if he's getting some of that receiving work along with what he can do on the ground, I'm fairly excited about it because Jalen Warren, I mean, I like him, but he doesn't do anything better than Rico Dowdle, I don't think, if you're just comparing the two. So I don't see any reason why he wouldn't get 60% of the work in this offense, and it's pretty solid.
Can we talk about what Dallas was doing with Rico Dowdle on their team for 3 years and never using him in his rookie contract, and then finally using him on his 5th-year option, and then was like, oh, he's pretty good. Let's get rid of him.
Yeah. Well, that's the other argument is Mike McCarthy went out and got him. He was I saw what Rico did. I get him on the Steelers. So he's got the head coach connection, which is another point in Rico's favor. So,
and not to mention the mileage is low. Play that game.
Very low.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, we obviously saw what he could do with the Panthers, multiple 200-yard games, which is just incredible. Yeah, I'm really hoping that this is like truly both guys are usable for fantasy, but we'll see. If it's Aaron Rodgers, it just kind of makes the morale real low, hoping that they can be both sustainable for fantasy.
This is like the lottery ticket, right? Like we talked about all these other running backs being the like mid-tier RB2, RB3 area. This is the clear lottery ticket. This could go up, down, sideways, right at where you drafted them, but I think it's worth the ask as long as the price tag isn't too high.
Yeah. I think it's worth floating some trades out for him because, I mean, people are not excited about the Steelers or Rico Dowdle going there. And we know for a fact they're not bringing anyone else in. And if they do, I mean, they just drafted Caleb Johnson last year, so it would make no sense, right? So this is Rico's backfield, I would assume.
Talk about a complete and utter fantasy bust. It might be a real bust in the league too, but man, Caleb Johnson, they do not want to give him any opportunities.
Talk about fumbling one kickoff and just getting kicked to the damn curb, dude.
Dude, fumbling
kickoffs. I've never seen it.
It's crazy.
No, the only thing crazier, and it was, we still will never know the full story, but remember when Jonas Gray had 4 touchdowns in a game, and then the next game he had like 12 snaps, and then he never was heard from again after that for the Patriots? Kind of the same situation.
Never.
Oh, yeah. Well, he had like a 200-yard, 4-touchdown game, and then just completely vanished into thin air. Like he didn't even exist. It was
a lot of running backs like that. Hate to see it.
For sure. All right. Well, let's move on to an absolute nightmare of a situation. That is Tyler Algier, our prized possession of hoping he went to a good team, signs with the Arizona Cardinals on a 2-year, $12 million deal. It's almost the exact same thing that Rico Dowdle got. Connor's there. Our poor Lord and Savior Trey Benson is there, but he's now gone. Or, I mean, I don't even know what to say. Call him. He's not going to be starting. And then now Tyler Algier's there. Who do you want from this team?
Tyler Algier. Yeah, I think it's pretty simple. I mean, James Conner missed it all his time last year with the injury, signs the veteran deal to stay in Arizona. He probably likes Phoenix. He's got his family there. It's a nice place to retire. Your bones definitely don't hurt as much in the desert heat. And then you got Trey Benson, who is still getting his knee surgically worked on, even though we thought it was some minuscule injury. He just had another cleanup or something on his knee. So he's out of the picture. And then they go out and get Tyler Algier, who was awesome when he was a starting running back. Then they go and get Bijan, and he still provided to be awesome when given a chance. So he had it in his contract when he was talking to reporters. He said, I'm not going anywhere unless I can be the starting running back. That he was very clear about that, and he went to Arizona. So I think they said, hey, it's your show, run it, and James Conner will supplement you when he needs to.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest with you. This is the one that makes one of the least sense to me of people supporting it online for like Algier to the moon. But yet we're talking Ken Walker's going to fail in KC where they don't have a running back. So like this is just a clusterfuck all around. Is it Algier's backfield to start the season? 100% because James Conner and Benson won't be healthy enough to take it yet. But it's just going to be that like sniffing around week 5. This is someone I don't want on my fantasy team unless I'm going to flip him after week 4. Because like I can see Algier, especially if given a full workload, actually doing really, really well. all of a sudden Benson's going to be healthy, and then Connor's going to be healthy, and then they're going to start sniffing carries, and then Algier might fumble, and then all of a sudden he gets pulled. And we've seen it from this team. They don't have any shame in pulling people out of the game and benching them and telling them they're getting traded. So, no, I don't like this. I don't like this for fantasy's sake, for any of them. I don't want anyone on my team. Like, I just done. I'm not saying trade Trey Benson. You still got 2 more years on that rookie contract. Hope that he catches the end of the year run or something, Maybe a Benson in Dynasty I'd still be a little bit excited about. Algier's fun for the first few weeks, maybe. And it could be good. I just don't understand the clear-cut optimism when there's so many factors against it.
Yeah, that's all true. Now, here is my conspiracy. So I'm thinking that he can only play for bird teams where the state has to start with an A. Maybe that's something weird quirk that he has. So he went from the Atlanta Falcons to the Arizona Cardinals, and that's the only 2 teams that he could possibly play for. But no, all jokes aside, I don't get what was happening here. I'm sure it's going to be Tyler Allgeier's backfield, and I just don't know what to do with the other 2 because James Conner, he's a solid guy, but he does get hurt every year. It does seem to happen. That you want to talk about injury prone? That guy is just a ticking time bomb year in and year out. However, he ends up somehow winning everyone fantasy leagues too at the same time. So he's just got that. And then Benson, I think they just don't like Benson, this new coaching staff. I think they got there and they're like, you know what? We need to get a new actual guy. Now, we do know they're not going to draft a running back, so that's actually taken care of. But they also have a lot of problems on this team they need to fix first. They still don't have a quarterback, although we'll get to the one they did sign. I don't know if that's what they're going to go for with the answer, but yeah, this was a head scratcher a little bit because it was one of the early signings too. And I'm like, man, you couldn't have leveraged anyone else into giving you a better contract as the day went on.
They got their guy, man.
I mean, fair enough. I think maybe that's right. Maybe that's what's right here.
I don't know. I just think this new coaching staff came in and the GM re-signed James Conner. He's the holdover. And then let's go get Tyler Allgeier, man. Let's run this offense through him. We got Brissett as our quarterback. He's not a world beater, so we need a pretty solid run game. So we need a couple guys, but Allgeier is given the keys to the castle, in my opinion. Also, I traded everywhere for Tyler Allgeier last year, so take it with a grain of salt. But
there it is.
I think Tyler Allgeier is extremely talented. And
I was really hoping for him to get a clear-cut shot, at a team. The Saints would have been a fun place for landing spot for Allgeier. So we're talking about the Texans needing a guy who can kind of hit that home run ball. Allgeier could have done that for him. It's such a weird, and he wasn't expensive. So, he could have went to any team, and he went to a team that has more question marks than answers. And it's not even – Denver would have been fun. I don't know. That would just put him in this weird spot with R.J. Harvey, and I don't know if they wanted a veteran probably to teach R.J. Harvey to play football. But at the end of the day,
R.J. Harvey to play football.
It's smart to get a running back. They were always going to bring one in. I hate that the waste of Allgeier's talent on this team. At the end of the day, he might actually just do it and be that dude, and nobody touches the ball other than him. But there's just I just have this knowledge. And maybe it's just because a lot of their running backs got injured. They played Amari DiMercato and Bam Knight. Oh, Bam Knight's still on the team too, by the way. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he is.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just a clusterfuck of running backs.
The only thing I can see is Allgeier has not been a receiver throughout his career. I mean, he's averaging 15 catches a season. So James Conner could slot in as the receiving back because that's actually a place where he does pretty good. James Conner or Tyler Allgeier is the early down back, and you get 12 touchdowns out of him. I think that works out well.
They do hate Benson.
Fair enough.
I don't know what they hate from Benson. He's been averaging 5 yards per carry in his career, but whatever.
Well, I do feel like there is something to a new coaching staff getting there, and maybe this is the answer with Dowdle too. It was a new coaching staff gets there, they want a guy in there that they believe in, and it's clearly Allgeier. It's clearly Dowdle. So
it's a fun.
I'm sure
for actual football, I love this backfield.
Same.
Arizona Cardinal fan, this is a great 3 people to have in there fighting for a job.
Yeah, same. I agree with that. All right, let's get on to some of these lesser guys, but maybe could be fantasy relevant. The next one on my list is J.K. Dobbins is going back to Denver on a 2-year, $20 million with $8 million guaranteed. We kind of wondered what way we're going to do with just R.J. Harvey there, and I guess the answer is just to bring J.K. Dobbins in and run it back. They still have yet to sign a free agent in this. It was them, the reigning champions in Jacksonville, but Jacksonville did sign one just not a couple hours ago. So Denver still hasn't signed a new free agent on the team yet. So they just signed back JK. Are we just going to think they're going into the season with these two guys, or what do you think the plan is here?
I would imagine. I mean, Jaleel McLaughlin is gone, I'm pretty sure. So there's opportunity for another random pass catcher. Although I'm pretty sure they signed Batty, however you pronounce his name. But I think they just liked J.K. Dobbins. Like, J.K. just looked good to start the season. They got injured. I mean, it's sad that R.J. Harvey didn't look good. So it was like, bring him back. I mean, I don't think it was anything like catastrophic. Like, he should be able to play next year. And J.K. Dobbins had a shitty hand. You know, at the end of the day, he's a good running back. But yeah. Not much changes here.
No, I think we kind of just see what we saw at the start of last year. I don't think RJ Harvey showed enough to take over the job from him. And honestly, this is a Kamara landing spot for me. I wouldn't hate seeing them trading a 6th or something to get Kamara out here and just, muddy it up more for us. But J.K. Dobbins was on his way to
Sean Payton.
Sean loves muddying up running back rooms, so that just fits.
Dobbins was on his way to being a league winner last year. I mean, for fantasy, but for a guy you got in the 12th round, he's giving you 15 points a week. True. It's pretty solid.
No, it's facts. He was going after RJ Harvey in drafts. That's a factual thing that was happening.
That is factual, but I don't know. League winner is a little bit of a stretch. He was, running back 25 on the season prior to injury or something like that. So,
I mean, bro, when you get your RB2 in the 12th round, that's kind of league winning.
You get help. Let's say that.
League helping running back.
He wasn't Jahmyr Gibbs, Joe. How about that? He wasn't Jahmyr Gibbs or Bijan.
He was a fringe starter in fantasy football. Is all I'm saying.
He wasn't Jonathan Taylor, Joe, was he? Was he Jonathan Taylor?
You got your flex player in the 12th round. I'm proud of you. You should have filled that out a little bit better.
I can win your league.
Instead of league winner, let's call him your league saver because you fucked up 6 other draft picks and you didn't have another starter, so you had to put J.K. Dobbins in.
What if you didn't, though? What if you hit on all
You nailed your draft.
J.K. Dobbins was riding on your bench.
Look what Detroit did that one
Kings year. Classic. He was killing me.
Right,
Detroit did that one year. They fucked up their draft, quote unquote, and then they still ended up with a great draft because they happened to get all the good players in the wrong places.
All right. We're getting in a weird tangent that we don't need to be on. I
love the tangent, bro.
Fair enough. Okay, well, we only have 3 more running backs left, so we'll quickly get through them. Kenneth Gainwell is in Tampa Bay, 2 years, $14 million, $10 million guaranteed. I personally think he has a redundant skill set to Bucky Irving, but I guess this is just the person that's going to ease the tension off of him that Rachaad White couldn't. I guess Kenny Gainwell must be a better blocker than I remember because I don't know. I don't.
No, he was always in prior to us having Saquon for the Eagles.
Fair enough. They also brought back Sean Tucker today. We found out, so that is their third guy. Kenny Gainwell is the Rachaad White spot.
Everyone's so worried about Kenneth Gainwell cutting into Bucky's workload just because we did last year was super fun. At the end of the day, I don't think Bucky. I think it's really just more about resting Bucky than Bucky not getting his touches. Like I think he's still getting his 16 carries, 3 targets a game, which is fine, and Bucky can do well with it. We don't want Bucky to have 30 carries a game. He's not built like that. We want him to stay healthy, and his injury last year was weird and telling of that at the end of the day. So,
I honestly think this. Because of last year, not because of the signing, but just what happened last year is going to push Bucky down boards for me. Just when I'm ranking people, and it's partially the Bucs training staff because they clearly don't have any idea what's going on. / they're just going to call everyone else. Everyone's questionable, even though they're clearly going to be out for 8 weeks. They're questionable to maybe play. I just can't. I can't do it again. For that reason, he's going to get bumped down. I like his talent and I love Bucky, and I would probably draft him. But I'm bumping him down in my rankings just because I don't want to do what happened last year again with him.
I'm definitely going to feel comfortable drafting Bucky later than other people are, so he probably will not be on my teams. This could just be, Kenneth Gainwell, pretty damn solid when given the shot. And there was a lot of smoke last year. I don't know if you guys remember about Bucky Irving going through mental issues and on top of the injury and a bunch of stuff. So maybe they just looked at it and they said, hey, man, we can't trust that this guy is going to be around for us this whole time. Let's get a guy that can step into the role and be the number one. if and when he's gone. I think we're just going to see a weird split between Bucky and Kenneth Walker, and Sean Tucker is going to poach some touchdowns. Kenneth Gainwell. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't. I think that's a bit of a stretch, but I get the fact of having a reliant backup because Rachaad White and Sean Tucker went that way. But I think it's Bucky's backfield to lose at the end of the day. The mental health thing might have just been brought on by the trainers telling him you might play. Just kidding. For fucking 8 weeks straight. But
I don't know. That situation was weird, man.
It was very weird.
Yeah, very bizarre. Okay, we can move on quickly to Isiah Pacheco, Detroit Lions, 1 year, $1 million.
I love this. I love this all around because for one, I feel like the Chiefs they gave up on Pacheco, and I don't think he's the best running back in the league, he is at least valuable running back 2 on a team. And if he can truly just step into the Montgomery role from last year, that's perfect. 600, 700 yards, probably be a good, bye week fill-in if there's one of those bye-apocalypse coming up. Probably will be on and off rosters all year. So if there ever is a Gibbs injury, there's that step into territory. So I think he's going to be a fun fantasy asset. But yeah, no, I'm actually just hoping for a resurgence in his career. I always liked Isiah Pacheco.
Yeah. I mean, the Lions have wanted a battering ram. They got a battering ram. That is what Pacheco is going to be. Montgomery had 184, 200 touches last year. And if we give that to Pacheco, I think he's in flex consideration easily.
The contract makes me feel like he's probably not going to get as much work as we hope. And it's just going to be mainly Gibbs and then just Pacheco's going to be
deal. You get a guy you're paying $1 million and you can use him 200 times. Why not? You know what I mean? I mean, that's a bit excessive.
I highly doubt that. But maybe. Who knows? I still think it's Gibbs to the moon, and he didn't lose any value based on that signing.
No, well,
Gibbs had 315 touches last year, too. More than that.
Gibbs isn't going to lose value unless they
guess what this year, Joe? It's going to be 400.
Dude, I would love that, personally. That would be
after
awesome.
That,
I don't
500, Joe.
This man will be retired next year then, if that's the case. But
exactly.
I think it's a good Montgomery light,
until the wheels fall off. All right, last running back that is signed currently was signed today. It's Chris Rodriguez is with the Jaguars, 2 years, $10 million. I'm just going to say it. I hate this because now they're still probably going to bring in one more person, and it's just going to be the jumbled ass mess. But this time we don't have an Etienne to actually anchor things and be good. It's just going to be a bunch of random people doing things, and I don't love that. That's what Washington did last year.
Are they going to bring in the other Washington running back that was also there, Jeremy McNichols?
Probably. Hell, Eckler's probably going to be there too. 4 times.
Eckler would actually be a good signing there, but if he can still play. Yeah, no, I hate this. I don't like Jeremy McNichols or Chris Rodriguez. They look fine, and they just kind of annoy me for fantasy perspective. They're probably really nice guys, but fantasy-wise.
Yeah, this is rough.
Chris Rodriguez is your lunch pail guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually very usable in fantasy this year. And I'm so excited about the signing. No. I'm not very optimistic about a guy like Bashal Tutin, who I'm sorry, the people on Twitter that love Bashal Tutin are probably the most annoying people on the planet. So I am so happy that they just got torpedoed by SS Chris Rodriguez here in the Gulf of America. Bring me Chris Rodriguez as an RB. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets more carries than anyone else on this roster and is a thorn in the side to everyone else in this backfield. Give me Chris Rodriguez of all of the running backs.
I would say they're going to bring in Jeremiah Love, but they don't have a first-round pick, so that ain't happening.
Yeah.
And there's still word that they might sign or trade Brian Thomas, which is even more like, oh, great, awesome, cool. Okay, that rounds out the running backs. There's still some available. Rachaad White, he's being linked to Seattle, so we'll see if that ends up shaking out. The way there's Nick Chubb, Mixon, pretty much the old guys that Eckler, Najee Harris, just it's the guys that are going to be hanging around for a little bit.
Speaking of, just to clarify this, Jeremy McNichols is available. So,
all right, well, head on down to Jacksonville. Yeah, for real. Maybe we'll see. They just don't have a guy, but I think that maybe be telling of what they're going to do. All right, let's start with the wide receivers. This is a long list, and we've already spent 45 minutes on running backs. So we have like, I feel like a tier here that we'll spend a chunk of time on, but these ones at the end we'll probably just burn through because there's some dumb contracts and we're just gonna have to
three good wide receivers in this free agency class.
True, but there was some trades too. So we'll get to the ones all that count. We'll start with first because it was supposed to be the prized possession, apparently, of free agency. It was Alec Pierce. He signed back with Indy, 4 years, $116 million, forced them to trade Michael Pittman, which we'll get to in a little bit. I don't like this, but okay.
Everyone
I'm not an Alec Pierce guy.
Everyone loves this. And it's one season, 1,000 yards, and he gets top 12 wide receiver money. I can't remember exactly where he's at, but something like that. Like, we vaulted a slot wide receiver into the conversations of the likes of Puka, Jefferson, Chase, and people. And I'm just like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, and people were getting mad at Mike Evans' contract, and we're mad about, which was, I don't even know, a third of this. And people are cheering the Colts in the streets for this. I don't get it. Sure, it'll be fine.
People are going to pay him more. If you think. Yeah, okay.
That's the worst part. That's the worst part.
Here's the thing with Alec Pierce. Daniel Jones, I don't think he's going to be healthy next year for the large chunk of the season. You got Anthony Richardson there. You got Riley Leonard.
They say ready by training camp, by the way. Which
There's no way.
Bonkers.
People just think Achilles injuries are fine. I mean, look at Therese Halliburton. He still hasn't touched a fucking basketball. Anyway, Alec Pierce, man, caught 47 passes last year. This has to be the most amount of money to anyone with the least amount of targets in league history, least amount of catches. He was very usable for fantasy football. And if he is the only person on the Colts outside of Josh Downs and Warren, he plays a position completely different than Josh Downs and Tyler Warren. And for the amount of money that they're going to pay this guy, he's probably going to see his targets increase. The question is, who are these targets coming from? And the other question is, if for dynasty purposes, if he's good next year, he's not going to be after that. Like, he is a one-trick pony, and there is nothing else to his game other than the deep ball. And if you don't have a quarterback that's going to get you the deep ball, or if they happen to go get another wide receiver, luckily Michael Pittman's no longer in this offense for him, because if he was still here, I'd be saying stay the hell away from Alec Pierce. But I don't know. Indy has made very bad
receiver, or they're going to get one next year, like you said. Like, there's no way that it's just Alec Pierce and Josh Downs and Ashton Doolin or whatever's left over after free agency clears. Like, no. Yeah, you're right. Like,
I'm more excited about Josh Downs than I am about Alec Pierce, to be honest with you.
I saw something like we can expect 8 to 10 targets from him this year, and that was from like a Indianapolis Colts beat writer. And I'm like, well, why didn't you just do that last year then? Like, if that's the plan this year, why didn't you just do that last year?
Yeah,
you just realized it was good.
Michael Pittman was not the better receiver overall, but Michael Pittman was the more reliable receiver of the two week to week when it came to like points and catches and stuff. So you traded him away, and now you just have Pierce. What are you planning to do? I do think this vaults up the rankings of them taking a wide receiver in this draft. I do think that's going to happen, but they traded away their first round pick. So even that's going to be a second round guy at best when they're when they're drafting a wide receiver for this team. I don't know, man. Like, I do want to throw out a stat, which I thought was fascinating. Alec Pierce finished the season with 1,000 yards and 47 receptions. It's the fewest catches to reach 1,000 yards since Deshaun Jackson in 2010. And I'm like, wow. That is an insane stat. That is an insane stat. What's an insane stat?
No, Joe just made a point about this yesterday.
Oh, okay.
He is not Deshaun Jackson, people. There is a one-of-one Deshaun Jackson, and it is not it. And we have been trying to comp these deep ball wide receivers for years to Deshaun Jackson, and there is only one Deshaun Jackson, okay? So stop doing this shit. It drives me nuts. It's not Alec Pierce, I promise you.
Well, it's okay, Joe. The stats, though, are the stats. I mean, that
no. Billy, I'm not mad at you.
Billy, this wasn't just this conversation yesterday, and he goes, why does everyone think they got Deshaun Jackson? Anyway, unrelated to Deshaun Jackson, who do you think drew the coverage away from Alec Pierce so he could get the deep ball and not have a safety over the top? That would be Michael Pittman. That would be the Tyler Warren.
And Downs. And
so Downs is now going to be on the other side, barring them drafting someone. There's going to be no one running through the middle outside of Warren and Jonathan Taylor being scared of the run, but like they're going to double cover Alec Pierce. Like I don't think you get one-on-one matchups anymore. Like you now just paid him this ransom and made him put him on this throne. Everyone's going to want to defeat the $100 million receiver, you know? So I don't know. I'm really worried about the Colts. I was pretty excited about them going into this offseason, and I thought Pierce was going to walk and they were going to build a new team, and they did not. I would have much rather seen Mike Evans on this team or someone else because this team was super
Tyreek Hill's available.
Tyreek Hill would
actually would be interesting.
I don't know about that one, but
Riley Leonard can run it 12 times. That makes sense.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, we got our Alec Pierce thoughts out. I don't think there's a ton. This didn't change his draft spot at all for me. Like where I was gonna take him before, that's the still place I'm comfortable taking him now. And
where does he even go this year?
Probably way too high.
Just like fifth
way
round?
too high. I would say people are going to be in the seventh. I think they're going to be sixth round ish.
I bet Alec Pierce is higher than that. I hate it, but I think he will be. Because it always drops off into this weird RB2 category, and everyone's going to be like, well, they still got the running back or the wide receiver one, Alec Pierce. He could be a top 10 guy. We're going to be hearing that all offseason.
Yeah, it's going to be very annoying. Let's hope they draft someone and we can get that conversation away. Hell, it would have been A.D. Mitchell's season, to be honest with you, if he still was there. That would have been our guy coming into this next season, but they traded him. All right, let's move on to a guy that actually might have changed his thought process, and that is Mike Evans. He's now in San Francisco. 3 years, which I think is bizarre, $60 million with 16 of it guaranteed, which makes me think they are way ready to get out of this contract if things don't go well. Electrical station aside, Joe, are we worried at all for Mike Evans here, or do we think that, fortunes are going to change?
No, honestly, this helps Brock Purdy a lot. He's definitely jumping up in my rankings because of this. I think it helps McCaffrey. There's no Kittle there. Juwan Jennings is gone. We haven't seen it from Ricky Pearsall. I know he's a popular breakout. Mike Evans, this is a better situation than he had with the Bucs. I'm so excited for this. I think he's going to have, just as many touchdowns we're used to seeing him have. He's a great red zone threat for this team. And I think this is perfect. He's going to have an opportunity to chase his ring if they get Nick Bosa back healthy and everything. And this is just green lights across the board for me. I love it. Outside of the electrical substation.
No green lights there. I'm stoked about this. They do have some outs in this contract, I imagine. I haven't really looked at it, but yeah, the guaranteed money being way less than the actual contract makes a lot of sense. But I love it because this actually helps everyone. I know you say Ricky Pearsall hasn't proven it yet. Also been dealing with injuries, and I don't think he was really ever supposed to be that number one guy. Like I think he was always supposed to be an extra wide receiver, and he can be gritty. And I think with a Mike Evans and Kittle running routes and Pearsall can slip away, whatever it is, I imagine they'll still add another wide receiver here because they're still kind of light. But at the end of the day, if Mike Evans, Pearsall, and Kittle are all out there running routes, I think this turns into a Eagles type category with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Goddard. And those are all the people catching passes, really, outside of McCaffrey, of course. But no, I love this for Purdy. He's got another jump ball guy. Kittle obviously going to take a little while to get back, I imagine. So Mike Evans to the moon to start the season and could be his best statistical career yet. He always had Godwin hanging around there ever since his rookie or sophomore season. So
true. I'm not going to lie. I'm probably going to rank him in the 3rd or 4th round to take in drafts, but I know damn well he's not making it through this whole season. He's just not. There's just no way. That team is just cursed with injuries. It's always someone different every single week, and you're bringing a guy that continues to get banged up every single year.
This is first season that's calmed down with banged up every year. This man
he does. He always has an ankle. He comes back and finishes the season out. So I'm not saying he's out for the season, but he's always banged up every year. It's a hamstring or his ankle. It's just something every year.
I love the memes of the barbecue guy pulling up the drumstick and the meat just falling off of it. They're like Mike Evans' hamstring when he meets that substation.
He missed 4 games the last 5 years. outside of this previous season.
All right. How many did he leave early? How many did he limp to the locker room?
I don't have that stat.
Does it put that on the stat sheet, Josh? Because that's what it is. It's, hey, Mike Evans is headed to the locker room. That happened a lot. Way too much.
I like Mike Evans.
Well, he did go to the locker room because they gave up like 3rd and 28 also. That was another.
3rd and 28?
Yeah, that was.
No,
everybody's like saying that he left because of Baker. He left because of the defense. How are people not understanding this shit? Like, he left because that defense was ass.
He wants another ring.
Everyone on that offense would have left that team if they could have. He knew he was leaving. Everybody would have been, but, you know.
No, if I get Mike Evans as my wide receiver too, I'm golden.
Yeah,
so
cool
excited.
I'm just scared that it's going to be like a Tyreek Hill thing where, like, it's either way gonna work or it's gonna be a total disaster, like one of those two things.
Mike Evans has been one of those guys, and now this is a different quarterback clearly, but he's played with several quarterbacks and some bad ones, might I add, as well. He always seems to get 10 points. Like, he's just such a consistent wide receiver too to have. Now there was the couple years that he was going in that wide receiver.
He played with Jameis, Baker, and Tom Brady. Like, let's calm down. He's played with some dudes that are gonna
He had to have played with some scrubs.
Well, there was. Well, it went from Brady to Baker. I don't know who. No, they went from Jameis to Brady to Baker. That was.
Well, never mind. He's had some fun quarterbacks, but Brady's not a slouch. I thought he had some weird in-betweeners.
No, they shipped Winston off and then won a Super Bowl the next season, and then as soon as Brady left, they signed Baker.
You are absolutely right.
I really thought there was like a stopgap.
I'm a big Buccaneer fan.
First year, he had Josh McCown and Mike Glennon.
There you go. That's the days Josh remembers.
Those are the days. Mike Glennon is who I remember as the Bucs quarterback before Brady.
That neck. How could you forget that neck that he had? Yeah, exactly. It's like, bro, calm down. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to a different player and a different team. And this one was kind of, I wouldn't say it was a shocker. We knew they were getting somebody. We just didn't know who. The contract was shocking. Romeo Doubs is a New England Patriot, 4 years, $80 million. I'm not going to lie. When I saw this, I'm like, he's going to get drafted in the first 4 rounds of every draft. Like, he's going to go that high because everyone's just going to give him the, like, treatment of this is a number 1 on this team. Now, I still think they're going to add someone else, whether it's one of the guys that's still available or through the draft. But I think he's going to be way overhyped if they don't add, but like a couple other like random pieces around.
So I got 2 sides of this coin. Now the contract is just ridiculous. Like, you can't tell me that the demand was that high where you needed to pay him that much money. That aside, I will say Romeo Doubs actually is a pretty good receiver. He was buried on this weird Packers 5 receiver core for way too long. He finally got a chance to get out, and now he's on a team where they're in desperate need of any wide receiver production. So there is a chance, and I understand what you're saying. I will not probably be drafting him because he's probably the hype's just going to get way too high, barring them trading for an AJ Brown or some other big name wide receiver. But I love it low key for the Patriots. They need a wide receiver. They got one. Don't love the salary, but I was bitching about all the salaries. I'm like sitting here. Maybe it's just because I'm looking at my own salary. And I'm like, this guy's getting fucking $80 million. Like, he.
Alec Pierce should not be making $117 million or whatever the hell. That's just
astronomical.
Anyway, Joe Doubs.
I mean, they had to do it. They needed to get someone. They missed out on all these other guys. We don't know about AJ Brown. They had to get a receiver there. I'm excited to see Romeo Doubs not in a Packers uniform and what he can actually do if he is featured. I mean, we've never seen him be a ridiculously high target guy. His most was 96, and that was coming from, rookie Jordan Love. So we'll see. I don't know. I just think the Packers wanted to run the football. That's all they were interested in, and they wanted to spread it around. So Romeo Doubs having Drake May, huge upgrade. I don't know, man. I'm kind of excited about this. I know he's going to get drafted high, but I am excited to see him get a ton of targets. He does profile better as a wide receiver too. So, but AJ Brown, Romeo Doubs, wide receiver room would be sick. I would immediately turn this team around.
Yeah, it's possible.
Not that they need turning around, but
they've even the Patriots, whatever news people have actually even said this doesn't rule out the AJ Brown trade. So it is still on the table. Howie Roseman's playing hardball and probably having a great time, dude.
Apparently, BTJ is available for a second, was what everyone was saying.
Well, the Jags came out and said they're not trading him, so I don't think it's happening. I think there was just some weird, like, ooh, we got some. This is the carrot, right? The little dangle. Like, anyone? We'll take some.
It would help if he. It would help if he got traded. It would make things a little more clear about what they're planning to do But
I think it was more for them. I think it was more about, can we get this first round pick back? Because we fucked up.
They definitely did. That was
Fireball.
a bad trade.
Bad.
About what?
If you guys want to take him. I think Doubs gets 12 touchdowns this year.
Yeah, I'll take that 100%.
Okay,
cool.
That's about the right. I think it's probably would be like 11.5 over under.
Put it in the ledger.
Absolutely not. Can we double that?
What?
I'll take one right now, and you have to take 2 at the end.
Let's see the whiskey. All right, you're on.
Sounds
right.
great. You deserve
Doubs
it.
12 TDs. I got to write that down. All right. Well, let's get on to a trade that happened for the Bears. The Bears traded DJ Moore to the Buffalo Bills. Joe, let's hear your thoughts on DJ Moore leaving for Buffalo.
Okay. DJ Moore, I'm so happy for him getting this trade to Buffalo where he is clearly going to be the featured player. There's no one else on Buffalo that can even sniff his jockstrap. Looking at you, Khalil Shakir. DJ Moore is an absolute stud.
Jesus.
And if he is featured by Josh Allen in this offense, he might have his best season ever. And yes, I am saying that's going to top the 1,308 touchdown season that he had with the Bears his first year. So I'm really excited, man. We saw, Romeo Doubs, he was hurt last year, but he's a solid wide receiver. Luther Burden's on the come up. We got Loveland. Let's go let DJ Moore be DJ Moore. And he is going to be what we're used to seeing in an absolute value probably come draft time. I don't think anyone else is going to be super high on DJ Moore after what he did the last couple of years.
No, I actually completely disagree with you on the last part. Everything else you said was absolutely true. I'm slightly worried about the Bears on this. And it's just because they had this depth, right? And that depth is disappearing now. Even lost Zacchaeus, which while he is not a huge name, he was a huge part of the offense.
He will not be featured on this, by the way. We had to draw the line somewhere.
We drew the line, Zacchaeus.
We had to draw it somewhere.
DJ Moore is going to be way too overhyped. I don't think that there's any doubt in my mind that he's going to be in like the second or third round. Like it's going to be ridiculous.
I don't think he gets that high.
Maybe not
really?
Second, third for sure. 100%. DJ Moore being on that team, he's a good wide receiver. Maybe people hate him a little bit from, past drops and whatnot. But anyway, regardless, I'm just a skosh worried about the Bears. And this all comes down to what they do in the draft or late free agency. There's still a chance to sign another wide receiver, but I need to see some like actual real depth on this team fast on in the wide receiver room because right now
Khalif Raymond, man.
Okay.
Problem solved.
And he is a very good role player to have, and Ben Johnson loves him. That's cool. And your kick returner.
Tim Patrick's available. Ben Johnson loved him too.
I wouldn't hate Tim Patrick. Wouldn't hate. I know we'll get to this in a little bit, but Kendrick Bourne would have been a good addition. Like there are options at wide receiver where like I'm like Bears, you got to get someone else in this room that's not just like a scrub or fourth round wide receiver that you draft in the draft because like love Burden and love Adunze, but they're both unproven right now, and I'm just slightly worried.
Yeah,
Loveland.
But at the end of the day, great to get a second round pick out of DJ Moore because the writing was on the wall at the end of the day. It was the right move. Just want to see some more actual as a almost Bears fan. I want to see it.
Loveland to the moon, Joe. I'm with you.
Loveland to the moon. Dude, Burden looked pretty good. You just invested a high second in him. You invested a first in Adunze, first in Loveland. I think you just say, hey, man, we invested our guys. We took our shots. DJ is worth a ton of money this year. Let's move along.
No, smart. Very smart.
Yeah.
I'm not doubting the trade. I want to see some depth behind those guys because one injury and y'all are back to the Chicago Bears from 4 years ago.
Darnell Mooney.
I trust them to know what to do because, like, I thought they were nuts when they took Loveland over Warren. I look like an idiot now. That was a great pick. So them thinking that they can give more away and think that they can still be fine, I'm going to trust it because until they prove otherwise.
I'm wondering how much Ben Johnson was in on the Sam Laporta trade, because I'm pretty sure we all thought, or the draft pick, because I'm pretty sure we thought Sam Laporta being drafted was wild too at the time. Like, we're like, what are the Lions doing in the draft? And then all of a sudden all of them hit, and we're like, all right, never mind. They're right.
Well, yeah. They traded away Hawkinson and they got Laporta, and we're like, okay, why didn't you? Okay. And then he proved to be better than Hawkinson. So, I mean, again, until he proves me differently, I'm just going to trust that he knows what he is doing.
Trust in BJ.
For sure. All right. Let's move on to the other trade that happened. That is Michael Pittman. Paid Alec Pierce all that money. We had to get rid of Pittman. So he goes to Pittsburgh to profile probably as the number 2. I wouldn't rule out this getting weird, but I think we could safely say the wide receiver 2 in Pittsburgh. I kind of like the Metcalf Pittman 1-2 punch. You could do a lot worse.
I've always liked both of these wide receivers. So I guess I was talking about it all comes down to the quarterback for this. Like, who is it going to be? And even if it's Rodgers, I think we're fine. Like, when he was missing Metcalf, he needed another guy. They finally went and got another guy. This is fun. Like, this is going to be a fun offense to watch. I'd prefer a Kyler going here, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. Like, let's build a team that can start now, or maybe we're just doing the punt until later. But yeah, I like this all around.
Yeah, I mean, we know what DK Metcalf is. Pittman's going to get you that more versatility in this offense and is probably going to be the heavier targeted wide receiver of the two. So I love it.
Yeah, they stay healthy. You get 2 1,000-yard receivers. Like,
yeah, definitely. I think I also like Mike McCarthy just builds good football teams. Like, he's not really good at getting you the Super Bowl part of the equation, but he's good at building the actual team up from the scraps to a good, solid 8 to 9 win team. Like, that is the basement. Like, he's at least good at that. So we'll see what he can accomplish in year 1 here. But you could do a lot worse than this wide receiver room. That's for sure.
This offense is better than 2 years ago. I mean, where they were when Definitely. They just had Pickens, the Pickens and Najee end of the rookie contract. I mean, this is a much better team at this point. So
yeah, I think for Pittman's sake, it's a much better situation than he had in Indy. So
yeah.
Be excited.
We'll see what the quarterback is, but probably can safely say that.
Even if it's Rodgers.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Titans signing Wan'Dale Robinson to a 4-year, $70 million deal, $38 million guaranteed. Cam Ward gets his slot receiver? Question mark?
Slot receiver?
I don't really. Yeah, this deal is kind of confusing to me, but I'm thinking it's going to be Ridley on one side, Ao Manor on the other. Where's DK going to play? I don't know unless we kick Ao Manor out, I guess. And then we have Wan'Dale in the slot. I guess that's probably the plan. I don't know. This was kind of a weird one too, for that much money at least.
No, I didn't like this one either. Mainly because you have DK, who's basically Wan'Dale younger, and you don't have to pay him. Like, he's good. Why not just use him? He's fast. He's fun. He's getting you kick and punt return touchdowns and getting you some offensive production. And then you're like, let's just go sign a different version of him. And it's like,
it's what felt like an expensive version.
Expensive version of him. I don't like this. I mean, at the end of the day, getting a weapon for Cam Ward is not a bad idea. I just would have liked to see a bigger body in the building, but I do like Wan'Dale at the end of the day. It's a weird landing spot for him. At the end of the day, if they run 4 wide receivers out there, sure. Maybe Ridley's on the move. Maybe they have 2 little shifty young little guys out there. I mean, could be fun.
Don't know.
I'm rooting for the Titans, man. They're like one of the closest teams to us, and I want to see him succeed. I want to see Ward succeed. So if that helps him, then good. But for fantasy, I think I'm just going to stay away from the Titans for another year.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you. I don't like the fact that Dable's just bringing his guys to Tennessee. They didn't work in New York. Why would they work in Tennessee, right? But
yeah,
Wan'Dale in particular, I don't hate it because I think that's what you need for Cam Ward right now. I mean, they tried to make Al Manor that kind of short yardage receiver possession guy. It never happened. Yeah, it never happened. He couldn't sync up with Ridley at all. So I think, Wan'Dale, kind of operating in the middle of the field there. We've seen 280 targets from him the last 2 years. I don't see necessarily, he's probably not going to hit 140 this year, but 120 targets, kind of playing that slot role. I think he could be a value for fantasy.
It's just the contract. It's just like, and it's not anything. That's what the market price is for him. It just seems like hopefully it works kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's just this wide receiver class was so thin in free agency and so thin in the draft that I think these teams were just like, all right, we got to pay to get these guys.
Well, it's like if you don't get a first round wide receiver, you're pretty much not getting one that can start. Essentially.
Yeah. I don't know. There's still some guys available. I don't know if I'd want them over Wan'Dale, but Dable likes Wan'Dale. I mean, that's what it is. Clearly what.
I forgot Dable was
yeah. So we'll see how that works with Cam Ward. All right. I feel we'll do one more that's kind of in the same tier, but then these other guys will just burn through. The last one is Rashid Shaheed, signed back to Seattle, 3 years, $51 million guaranteed, $51 million contract, $34 million guaranteed. Sure. Couldn't sign back Ken Walker, but we could sign back Rashid Shaheed.
I mean, at the end of the day, they had to choose between Walker and Charbonnet, and so far Charbonnet has had the healthier time. Like, I know you guys love the whole health situation. I guess they both kind of had health issues, but they're probably just going to get a new running back in this draft or next draft. But I actually don't dislike this Rashid Shaheed signing because I feel like he never really got to reach his full potential coming in at the trade deadline. They didn't really use him the first few weeks. I guess learning the playbook maybe was a little difficult for him. I don't know if it's a complicated playbook or whatever, but he's a playmaker, man. Those kick return touchdowns, those just kick return yards in general, just the burner nature of him. If we can get a deep route on him to work 3 times throughout the season, this contract's worth it. Like 3 deep balls for him. It's so rare when you see an actual 80-yard touchdown, and Shaheed's one of the 7 people who could do it in the league. So
true.
Yeah. No, I mean I love Shaheed as a player, and I think he makes this team more of a weapon, more dangerous being on the team. It'll be interesting with Kubiak out of there if he's featured more, but it's wild paying a guy $17 million a year that 15 catches on your team this year. That's nuts.
Yeah. I don't understand it, but maybe having what you do know is better than having what you don't know. I guess that's maybe the thought process there.
Talk about who would be the D-Jack. I think this would be the real D-Jack if there was one.
Could be if it was a little more consistent. I could definitely see that.
But I don't think it's Shaheed's fault. He did it in New Orleans.
It is. You're right. That is true. And he was doing it with, in my opinion, worse quarterbacks than Sam Darnold. And why it never happened?
I don't know if Sam Darnold was just we're doing so good, I don't want to fuck up by throwing interceptions, deep ball interceptions. Right. But honestly, Tua learned this. Deep ball interceptions actually don't hurt, especially on 3rd down.
That's
20.
True.
You know what I mean? You're punting anyway the next down. You throw a 50-yard interception.
You don't have a whole offseason with a dude. You have to try to learn on the fly, his mannerisms, his cuts, his moves. Maybe after an entire offseason, maybe it's going to end up being a lot different for him.
I like this all around. Let's see him in a season, and then we can make that judgment call. If we're all wrong, I can see that happening too. But I think there's some actual smoke here.
For sure. True. Another good trade candidate. Be like, bro, he had 15 catches last year. Take a third for him.
That's not wrong. That's actually a good point. I have him. I'd probably take a third for him. I'm pathetic. All right, let's move on. The only 2 I have left on this list aren't very, in my opinion, noteworthy, but they got contracts, so we'll see. First one is Kendrick Bourne to Arizona, 2 years, $11 million. I think it's just get to be a wide receiver 3, maybe. I don't know. It feels like enough of a name to where I'm interesting. But I also am they're still behind the 2 big dogs there, right? And Trey McBride. So probably not that big of a deal.
I like this as a late signing or a Dynasty. If you have him on Dynasty, you're all right, he's on a team that he could eventually get some work in. I'm not you're not drafting him high, obviously.
Totally would not shock me if Brissett was just this is my guy this year. It was Wilson last year. It would not shock me if it was Bourne. I don't think it's worth it.
That is true. Okay, and then the other one, which to me kind of shocked me, and who knows if it did go through because it didn't get changed today, but Jalen Nailor signed to Las Vegas, 3 years, $35 million, $23 million guaranteed. Wide receiver 2 is what he's getting paid as. Can he be that? I don't know. I don't know. We never really got to see it.
I don't hate it, man. I think he could actually be a value come draft time, just because no one is going to be on this guy because he's essentially a no-name, but there's no one on Las Vegas that is worth a damn as of we speaking now. So maybe they draft a player, maybe he is my heart, he is my soul, but he is not worth a damn on this team.
Jalen Nailor never had a 3-touchdown game, Joe, so just
that is true. He hasn't? I wouldn't be shocked if he had.
Yeah, this was my biggest what the fuck outside of Alec Pierce, I should say. I'm like, how does Nailor get 11 million? And I looked it up and I was like, actually, apparently that's like the going rate for like a guy his age and stuff. And I'm like, okay, but like, yes, he was buried behind good players, but like, is he good enough to be paid this much money? Like, I feel like he should be still sitting in free agency. People are like, maybe, maybe one day.
True.
Like sign tomorrow, maybe, but like still like I'm good for now.
Yeah, I'm trying to come up with an example of this where some shitty player just made a ton of money and then they threw him the ball a ton, but it kind of seems like all those contracts have been this year. So I don't really know.
This was a year that it seems that way. All right. Before we move off wide receivers, the ones still available: Tyreek Hill, Christian Kirk, Deebo Samuel, Darnell Mooney. I think we kind of break there, and then it's Tutu Atwell, De'Ami Brown, Marquise Brown, Curtis Samuel, yada, yada. So I still think the Mooney, Samuel, Kirk, Hill landing spots could still, especially like Christian Kirk, he's still got something in the tank, I feel like. He's 29.
He looked good in Houston last year.
Yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't be getting a little bit more involved there, but that's who we still are waiting on to see where they go.
Deebo was pretty solid last year.
He was.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of shocked Deebo hasn't been signed yet.
He's got some troubles off the field, but he could still be a guy.
Who doesn't?
He's been doing that.
Who doesn't indeed? All right, we'll get to the tight ends. The class is bigger than what I think it's actually going to matter, but the biggest one, in my opinion, is Isaiah Likely signs with the Giants, follows Harbaugh, 3 years, $40 million. Dart has his guy as a tight end. I actually quite like this. If you were holding on to Likely this entire time, I think this might be a good scenario for you.
I thought it was going to be a splash in the wide receiver department. I never even thought about them getting a tight end like Likely, and that is great. Love it all around for this team. Hate it for the NFC East and why having to watch them 2 times a year playing against my team, but yeah, no, this team's going to be fun.
No, I absolutely love this. I'm going to try to get him everywhere. I have a feeling that a lot of people are still going to be like, oh, Theo Johnson's still good, blah, blah, blah. But no, this is Isaiah Likely's show, and I am so excited for this. Only 25 years old, which is wild.
It feels like he's been playing behind Mark Andrews' shadow for 12 years.
Yeah.
It does feel that way. We got to see him at the Senior Bowl, Joe.
We did.
Looks good.
Looked very good.
Okay. Travis Kelce signs back to Kansas City, 1 year, $15 million. I feel like it needs to be said. Don't really think fantasy relevant.
I think it's fantasy relevant. He's not fantasy relevant, or it's not fantasy relevant because he didn't change teams.
Yeah, it's okay.
I think Travis Kelce is still fantasy relevant. Is he his tight end one self anymore? No, but he's still really good.
He's top 12.
Fair enough.
I'll say top 12. Easy.
Well, okay, that's not a hard bar to clear there.
That's tight end one, buddy.
Have to get like set. Okay, but I'm saying like the 7 and below are not exactly like league winner guys. They're just fill-ins.
Okay, top 7.
Okay.
I don't know if Patrick Mahomes is
playing, about that. So well, that's the other thing we don't know. But
yeah, honestly, like, was Travis Kelce bad because Mahomes was out, or was Travis Kelce bad before that? The answer is both.
Yeah, I was about to say he didn't really do much either way.
He was
tight end 3 last
year, wasn't he? Yeah, he was still fine when Mahomes was there, but as soon as Mahomes was gone, it turned into like oh man. I think I even like put Kelce in a couple lineups thinking like, oh,
here's the thing. Matt Nagy is gone, guys. So no, it's going to be good. Like the whole other rest of the team is going to be good again. It's not just going to be funneled to Travis Kelce. And when that doesn't work, we're just screwed. Like that's what the Matt Nagy experience was. And no, we don't have that anymore. So no, I'm very hopeful that the rest of this team is finally going to be unleashed. now that he's out of there. But again, I guess we'll see. Maybe I'll be wrong. Another one that just really hurt signing-wise was Cade Otton's going back to Tampa, 3 years, $30 million, $20 million guaranteed. I just hate this. I really was hoping they would upgrade, and they didn't. They didn't at all.
So Sadiq was mocked to them several places, everywhere, honestly. I mean, maybe it was just because Otton was technically a free agent before this, but I mean, personally, they have a lot more holes to fill, which is understandable. Go get an edge rusher, offensive lineman, whatever they need to get here. But like the Sadiq would have been so awesome for offense, which is what your team is. Like we learned that you're an offense team, and then your defense sucks. Like try to build it, but don't rush. And I really thought they were getting Sadiq. So now that really puts me in the who's getting Sadiq area because they paid out a little too much to be like still going after a rookie to replace him. So yeah, didn't understand this one either. I like Cade Otton actually, but he isn't fancy relevant at the end of the day.
Yeah. See, I still believe Delvin Culp is a better tight end than Cade Otton. So
I don't think you're wrong there. I seriously don't think you're wrong.
It's possible.
We'll never see it.
$10 million a year, man. We're stuck with Cade Otton. So do with that what you will.
Guess we'll see. All right, on to the new faces, new places. Chig Okonkwo is in Washington on a 3-year deal. The Ben Sinnott community was just in tears today over this because he is, again, not going to be a breakout guy. The Ben Sinnott truthers, I feel for y'all, but it's probably over at this point, boys. But I actually kind of like this a lot for Jayden Daniels.
Love this all around, dude. The way he made Zach Ertz, and I'm not saying Zach Ertz is still amazing because he clearly was these last couple of years. The way he had that connection with Zach Ertz and put up stats the way he did, what could Okonkwo be, man? Like, could we see top 5 numbers from him? Like,
he could be top 12.
I would clearly be top 12. But I think we could see top tight end 5 numbers from Okonkwo. Like, we know the talent's there. We know the targets were never there. We've seen some flashes, but like Jayden Daniels likes his tight ends, man. And maybe that was just because he's never had more than one wide receiver healthy at a time. But I don't know. I'm like weirdly optimistic about this. I was trying to like trade for him today. Billy wouldn't trade him to me.
Nope. Not a part of the package as a whole. I actually kind of like this one quite a bit.
This one, there are 5 free agent signings I'm really excited about, and this is one of them. This is massive for Chig. This is massive for that offense. Like, we'll see what happens with Ertz. They might bring him back, and if they do, that'll definitely put a damper on it. But
I think
as of right now, that'd be cool.
Could be, but we'll get to what the Eagles are doing after we talk about these last 2, just because they're not really that big of a deal signing. Noah Fant signs to New Orleans for 2 years. They're out of the Taysom Hill game, so I don't really think this means a whole lot. However, it is a name. I feel like we know Noah Fant, but I don't really think it's going to mean that much in the long run.
He'll be annoying enough for Juwan Johnson owners.
Yeah, probably.
That's pretty much all you get there.
Nothing, Josh. You just have the thumbs down. That was it.
I did the thumbs down. I thought that was enough.
Fair enough. Hey, we'll take it. And then the last one, which I think a lot of people were overthinking today, but it was Daniel Bellinger signed to the Titans for 3 years, $24 million. And while on like the face of it, that's like, oh, well, Gunnar Helm stock's out the window. I think Bellinger is going to be the running game tight end to to block. And then Gunnar Helm's still going to be able to get some stats there without Chig Okonkwo. I think Gunnar Helm has actually still got quite a bit of value. And if you can go snipe him off somebody's team for some like really not that big of a draft pick, I would go offer. I'd go offer right now because like Bellinger's not going to be the pass catching guy here.
I picked up Gunnar Helm like week 12 last year after we did a little podcast talk about him, and I was like, shit, he's available in like a pretty deep league that is. So I think he might just be available. Go look to see if your free agency's open.
Yeah, please do because he's going to get some work this year.
So I will say, low-key, I do like Daniel Bellinger. I don't know how much that eye injury affected his like actual vision for football and being able to catch and stuff because it was a really bad injury. So there is still a possibility that there's some catching aspects for him because Bellinger actually had a really good year before that eye injury, or had a good season during that injury. So he just got replaced clearly. So I don't hate the Bellinger signing. A little pricey for my take, but I think that's just what the going rate is at this point. Inflation's hitting us all, man.
It is. I mean, this is just Brian Dable bringing another one of his guys down here.
True.
I mean,
not wrong.
I don't know if he's going to get some sort of Dable bump in this offense just because of the pass they had together. It's clearly Gunnar Helm's the more talented.
It's a lot of money.
But,
that's the other problem.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about it, honestly.
He did pay a lot of money to ex-Giants. Kind of, once again, forgot about this whole Dable connection.
Definitely did. Okay, before we get to quarterbacks, the tight ends that are available, I think there's just two that mean anything right now. It's David Njoku and Jonnu Smith. What's weird, so Josh, have you noticed they have not released Dallas Goedert yet? They pushed back his release date today, and he is still on the Eagles currently, and they are hoping to get an extension done. Why you would do this weird, quirky. Well, Howie Roseman always figures out the weirdest shit to do with his team. However, currently not a free agent, Dallas Goedert. He is still currently on the Eagles and might get an extension done.
I was confused how he wasn't signed yet. That was my biggest question.
I thought the same thing today, and I saw that. No, he's still actually on the Eagles. He's still contractually on the squad. They did not release him. And weird. I didn't know you could push back a voided contract, but of course, Howie Roseman knows some weird shit that nobody else has thought of.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, then yes, you're right. Then I'd say Ertzen as an honorable mention here, but
true. He's just he's our age.
He is very injured, coming off that very bad injury, but he did say he's going to play again. So I'm excited to see. He might just be a free agent rolling into the year at the end of the day. But yeah, Jonnu being unsigned is wild to me, and Njoku as well. I know Njoku's a little older, but Jonnu's like still pretty young for about 27, something like that. And coming off some pretty good seasons.
No, Jonnu's 30. Njoku's 29.
Oh, okay. I thought Johnny was younger. Regardless, these are both very playing age tight ends. Like, why is no one willing to give a 2-year contract to either of these guys when there are some?
I need to see Njoku on the Rams. I know it's not going to happen because
they love what's his face, Colby Parkinson,
and Ferguson. They just drafted last year.
Yeah, so Parkinson's played on that team for 11 years or something like that since they were in St. Louis, which is a wild stat. I didn't know that.
As well. Okay, let's round out.
Give me Njoku on the Panthers or Sadiq from our mock.
I want to see Jatavian actually finally do something.
I know you're holding strong with the Sadiq take, and I love that for you, Joe. All right, let's move on to the quarterbacks real quick. There's really only one big one, and then there's a couple of smaller ones. The big one was Malik Willis has a new home with the Miami Dolphins. We wondered if he was going to go to Arizona to follow the offensive coordinator, or if he was going to follow the ex GM and guys that are going to go down there to coach in Miami, and he chose Miami. 4 years, $67 million guaranteed, 67 million, 45 of it guaranteed. Guys, I just don't know.
First things first. Do you think Tennessee's
when did Malik Willis get worth this? What?
Do you think Tennessee's pissed about this right now, though?
No. I think if he was in Tennessee, he would have been the same level he was at now. I don't know about this. This scares me a bit.
I'm slightly optimistic, but yeah, I'm not fantasy relevant. Absolutely not going to talk about it. Not putting it as my starting.
He is a runner.
I would say I'm more comfortable with fantasy than real life. But
yeah, exactly. I feel the same.
I think he's a good game manager, and I think this team isn't as. Oh, they did do a little fire sale at the end of the day, though, so maybe not. Yeah, it's gonna be a rough year. Never mind. Sorry, Dolphins fans. Which rip to Dolphins fans who had that 11-0 run a couple years ago, and now we're just dealing with this.
Yeah, they literally put 70 points on Sean Payton's Broncos, and now they're just really dismantled.
It's a huge shot to put on your new head coach to just say, "Here's your quarterback. He's looked okay sparingly throughout the last 4 years, but." This is the guy you got to go win with. And if we're looking at it as a high upside bridge quarterback, I like it. For fantasy, I do think he's going to get you some good rushing yardage. And honestly, a lot of people are worried about Waddle. I think this actually helps Waddle because he could not get it done with Tua. We know that. So someone should be able to throw him the football. yeah, I mean, for fantasy, I'm kind of excited about this. Not gonna lie.
Wow, we flip-flopped.
I agree, actually. I think it's good for fantasy, bad for real life football. I just don't.
Well, I kind of forgot about the whole fire sale of the entire Dolphins, so never mind. I actually am just not excited about this at all.
Well, they also just have
$100
million in dead cap for one player. It's just horrible.
I mean, I don't know. You play in a division with Drake May and Josh Allen, and you're going to bring Malik Willis to the gunfight. I don't know what you think is going to happen here. I guess the Jets suck, so you're going to be the third best team in the league or the division.
Right. Well, almost like at this point, like, should you have just signed a veteran and just said fuck it for a year and went and draft Arch Manning or something and rebuilt this team to be an actual competitor? I don't know.
The only thing is, since the coach is from Green Bay, the GM is from Green Bay, they clearly like Malik Willis, and they clearly think that this is a guy that they can win with at some point. 4 years, I guess we'll see. Year one's not going to go well. And I think they had to have known that going in, that this year is just an off year. It's just not going to be this one.
Yeah, they got maybe some capital to draft a new team, basically.
Exactly. And so, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Okay, let's get through these other ones quickly so we can, talk about winners and losers. But Tua Tagovailoa goes to the Atlanta Falcons for 1 year, 2 left-handed quarterbacks. That is pretty fascinating with him and Michael Penix. Yeah. It seemed like the most obvious spot to me. I mean, but you're right. It wasn't. A lot of people thought he might go somewhere else. Sure. I mean, I don't know. I'm not that excited either way. I think he's better than Penix. Who knows who's more medically hurt? They both have a lot of challenges.
I think the cool thing about this for really just the Falcons organization is you didn't really put necessary pressure on Penix. It wasn't like you went out and signed the number 1 free agent quarterback out there. You didn't draft the number 1 quarterback coming in or even number 2 quarterback coming in. You're putting this as a Penix. This is still your job if you can prove it to us. You know what I mean? Like, this is a Penix. We know you haven't done it yet. We want to see it. But at the end of the day, we need to have a fail-safe as well. We have to try to compete. So I actually don't hate this as a signing perspective. Once again, starting neither of these guys in fantasy ever, even in Superflex. So, yeah, it's just one of those things where, and it gives Tua some fun targets out there. Drake London running deep routes from Tua, deep balls, could be super fun. Pitts, too. I mean, if they could finally get Pitts out of the 10-yard line.
He made Darren Waller relevant.
He did.
He did.
Tennis.
I don't hate it, man. I mean, you're getting him for $1.3 million. He's getting $54 million from the Dolphins, so it's a good time to be Tua. But I don't know. I think give him a fresh start, see what you got. I mean, this team's probably playing for next year anyway.
Probably so. All right, another team's playing for next year. That is the New York Jets. They traded for Geno Smith. They brought him back to where he originally got drafted. Geno Smith is the sign of the first pick to come. That's what the Raiders used him for, and I think that's what the Jets are planning to use him for. So just a bridge year. Don't love this for anyone involved. Poor Garrett Wilson and Brees. I don't know.
So I slightly disagree.
Okay.
The Raiders, for fantasy purposes, I'm not playing Geno. I don't think Garrett is in any way, shape, or form going to go negative from this. I think this is a slight positive, slight increase. Everyone was calling him overthrow Geno or whatever kind of things. There was memes going on about him.
Well, he destroyed Brock Bowers, and I don't think I'll ever forgive him for that. So
okay, that's fair. But he did connect with JSN. He did connect with DK Metcalf. He had some positive offense. And this team at least has some offensive weapons. No offense to Brock Bowers and Genty, but that's not the type of weapons that he needs. He needs someone he can throw the ball downfield to. And Garrett Wilson can be that guy. Now I want to see another wide receiver in this room real quick. But yeah, I'm a little worried about Brees, I guess, but I just want Brees off this team at the end of the day. But he could catch some short routes here and there, and I think that Geno will be fine. But yeah, it's the Jets. We know we're not winning the league, right? As Adam Sandler said in Big Daddy 30 years ago, the goddamn Jets. So
Geno's got heart, man. The fact that he has not announced his fucking retirement after being traded back to the Jets is unreal to me. They're only paying him $3 million this year. He's getting what he's getting from the Raiders still. I'd hang the cleats up for a year and be like, I am not playing for this organization again. So if he actually takes a snap, you have to give him mad respect for a human being. Talk about persistence. But for fantasy football, I don't know. It's probably better for Garrett Wilson, but I don't know. Honestly,
you at least got a true passer in there. You know what I mean? Like Justin Fields clearly couldn't get the ball past the line of scrimmage, essentially. So
you're totally right. I have a hard time with Kirk being out there and Kyler being out there, and there are so many other options. And
might be the only time you could ever trade for Garrett Wilson right now. After a down year Fields, and I know he still did fine, but just be like, dude, Geno was overthrowing everybody, man. He couldn't even make Brock Bowers the tight end one. Like, what do you think he's gonna do with Garrett? All of a sudden, could happen.
That's true. Or Geno maybe. Smith. We just know they're gonna suck, and that's good for them.
Very least, if you're wrong, you get the Arch Manning next year. So
that's true. And the coach is definitely getting fired too. I don't think they go into this new regime with a new quarterback and everything. Just get the coach Aaron Glenn on out of here. Just feel bad for him because he just got put in a bad situation and it just snowballed on him a little bit.
You've heard of Sleepy Joe Biden, but you've never heard of Sleepy Aaron Glenn.
Exactly. Because you cannot be a defensive coordinator and your team does not intercept a ball for an entire season. Factually cannot happen. Sorry. This is a lame duck year for him. And he'll be gone by the start of next season. So that's good.
You also cannot fall asleep while David Bailey is running his 40 because your team needs help.
He knows he's not going to be there next year. Like, even he knows he might as well just catch up on some Z's now because it doesn't really matter what he does at this point. He knows he's gone. Sadly.
Sadly enough, I don't think it's his fault. I think there's a lot of issues in this team. And
he took over a bad job. Like, if you're taking Detroit Lions coaches, you take the Ben Johnson. You don't take Aaron Glenn. Like, come on. Like, Jets, you made the wrong decision there.
They have Hendon Hooker on this team. Why not just
see what he's got? I know.
Because no one else has.
I'd love that. All right, last quarterback I have down. He's probably going to be the backup, but it's Garner Minshew to Arizona. I just love it because, man, it would be fun to see one last ride with Minshew out there tossing balls with his mustache.
Brissett's old, man.
That's true. They haven't technically named Brissett the starter, like going in.
They've heavily implied it, though.
They have implied it, but they haven't technically said it. And so, yeah.
Why would he not be, considering he was pretty much the ipso facto starter last year? But at the end of the day,
and stat-wise, they did well.
Younger than us.
It's old.
Minshew?
Minshew's 29.
Brissett's 33. Why does it feel like he's so much older? That's so wild.
Because he's been on so many teams.
I was about to say he's been on like 8 teams at least. Okay. And just to round out the free agents that are still available, Kyler Murray, he's taking a visit to Minnesota tomorrow. I don't expect him to leave the building not signed. Kirk Cousins is still available, which is an option. I thought Arizona might take a swing, but they didn't. Well, they might, I guess. Still, it's not out of the question that they could. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and then it just gets to a bunch of
Kirk Cousins in Pittsburgh could be fun.
Yeah, it might not be a bad way to end things out there.
I feel like they're linked to Rodgers, though. I feel like they're like, hey, we got you another receiver, bud. You want to come back for one more?
For sure. Okay, let's just end this real quick with a little winner-loser talk. Which teams would you consider a winner, and what team would you consider a loser going into, from what we've already seen of free agency?
I'm going to go with the first loser, and it's the Carolina Panthers. They spent way too much money. The fact that Jalen Phillips, who had, 5 sacks in 2 seasons, is making more money than Trey Hendrickson is just a mistake. This contract, you had Brian Burns for way less than this, by the way, and you traded him away to the Giants, and then you're going to sign Jalen Phillips, who is currently unproven. And injury prone. That's why Miami got rid of him. I like Jalen Phillips. He's a good edge rusher, but he's not a top 10 edge rusher, and that's what he's being paid as right now. Like it's just what it is. Like other than that, Devin Lloyd, that was a good signing, but I just feel like they're just always the cash cow and just spend way too much money in free agency. And it's just like, you have all this money, doesn't mean you need to spend it on one player. And like to put all your eggs in one basket like that just seems silly. Like I understand make this defense better, but they didn't sign anything that was necessary at the end of the day. Like, just my thoughts.
That's
no. Leaves a little bit to be desired. It does beef up the defense a touch. I like the Lloyd signing, but I think the Giants.
I thought there was more big contracts, but
I think the Giants absolutely won free agency as far as I'm concerned here, because they brought in Isaiah Likely, who's a real weapon. They got Tremaine Edmonds to block up the middle. They got Greg Newsome, honestly, on a very decent contract to come out there. And they upgraded their punting game too. I mean, they're just checking Harbaugh is just checking all the boxes here. This team was already on an upward trend last year. And I think after this free agency pool and what we see them do in the draft, I think they're going to be very competitive next year.
I can say that. I'm going to do a winner because it kind of all just fell in their lap. I actually kind of like what the Raiders have done. They trade Max Crosby and get the 2 first, which would have been awesome. And one this year and one next year. It gets weirdly bounced back to where they end up back with Max Crosby, but the signings they've made are building a nice like structure, whereas they can go and draft guys to make the rest of it work. Like they've really done well with their O-line. I thought they improved it quite a bit. Getting Linderbaum from the Ravens would have been fantastic. They got Max Crosby back on the team. They're gonna get Fernando Mendoza 1 overall. And I don't know. I feel like the Raiders, they're not going to win their division. I'm not going to be stupid and say something like that because they're definitely not ahead of the Chargers, Broncos, or the Chiefs. But I like the bones that they're building of the team. And I think that was the problem last year that we had with them, was that they had like these fun tent poles with like Bowers, and they had what's his name, the running back that I can't think of his name of, Genty. Like they had these nice tent poles of players, but they didn't have any like actual meat to go with it. I don't know. I just like the bones of it now. I think they have something to build on here.
No, that was going to be my winner as well, you dick. But Dean and Quay combo at linebacker. When I saw they both got signed, and I was busy doing something. You had said the 2 dogs got drafted. I was like, what?
Yeah, 2 Georgia Bulldogs.
And I was like, I didn't know what that was, but I assumed it meant Dean. And so I went in and I looked and I was like, oh, Dean got signed. That's cool. And I was like, oh, Quay got signed too. And I was like, oh, shit, both to the Raiders? Like, that is going to be a dirty defense, man. Like, I know they're not going to have Max there anymore, but, like, Dean's a great blitzer for as small as he is. He just slips right in there. I think he had 4 sacks last year, and he only played, like, half the season on the Eagles last year. I was sad to see him go, but my next best win would be the Baltimore Ravens, honestly. I don't know what happened with this Max Crosby thing, but to keep 2 first-round picks, maybe they just saw Trey Hendrickson sitting there, but they got Trey Hendrickson. They replaced their guard situation. I know they lost Linderbaum with John Simpson, and then Jalen Hawkins and Awuzie to add to that secondary, which I feel like, for some reason, I feel like they always have like 5 corners and 3 safeties, but just boosting all defense is smart for this team. Now, I'd love to see a wide receiver join this team, like actually. But I assume there's still time. I think they're honestly probably in play for AJ Brown if they wanted to. Like, they got those first round picks back. They already kind of like chopped them up as a loss, but then they went and got Hendrickson to swap for Max Crosby. Now I think people are gonna be a little timid actually working with the Ravens now. I don't know, after backing out of a trade like that, seems a little sketchy. Like, I still don't know what really happened, but I'm sure we'll hear more about it in the future. But I mean, we knew he had meniscus surgery. Like, how do you – he's behind schedule 3 days. He's supposed to be on his 6th rehab. He's only on his 5th rehab. I don't know. Whatever. PT, I guess. You know what's actually really sad?
Crazy.
I'm sorry. This is randomly side tangent. People saying he was popped for Fent and stuff when he's literally celebrating, like, sober life. And it's just, like, it's really sad with people talking shit like that.
Yeah,
like,
no, there's people saying he got caught smoking weed outside the facility too. I was like, okay, well, that's definitely not.
He like literally had a party for his 6 years sober, and people were just like, he's doing drugs. And I was like, fuck that, man.
Yeah. All right, Joe, you have any more winners?
I just have a loser, and it's Cincinnati. I mean, they didn't. Cincinnati didn't have shit to work with cap wise, but they got Boye Mafe and they got Brian Cook, both the pretty big contracts here. There's a lot to be desired with the defensive players that were and are still available, and just Trey Hendrickson didn't play last year. He walks. You lost him. That sucks. You have to do something to build this defense up, and they just didn't. They just didn't.
Yeah, signing Mafe to a $20 million contract when Hendrickson was only getting like 22 just seems like you couldn't have done something else. And then I don't know about you guys, but why is Brian Cook making $15,000 a year or $15 million?
I don't know. I mean, he
lost his job last year.
Exactly. He was a good piece at a time for the Chiefs, but it wasn't like, let's go sign him to a big deal. It was more like maybe a prove it deal, but not that much money. It's kind of wild. My one loser I'm going to talk about, because we've already pretty much talked about him, is the Tennessee Titans. I like what they did on defense, because Saleh, as the head coach, knows what the hell he wants to do on defense. It's the offense with Daboll. It's like, what the you just let this guy bring in all these dudes that didn't work with the Giants? Like what are you doing?
Oh, wow. It was 4 of them. Well, I don't know. Cordell Flott's a corner. He also brought in their center. Like, 4 Giants getting signed to this team.
No, and it's like I appreciate Saleh doing what he needed to do for the defense, because I think he knows what to do there. I don't know what they did for the offense. Offense, we talked about already. A lot of money for not a lot of production.
The defense signings were sick. The Jordan Elliott, Alante Taylor, John Franklin Myers. Like, I was like low key loving the Tennessee.
They traded for Jermaine Johnson too, which I think he got a lot of production out of when he was in New York. Saleh did, so I like that one a lot. The main loser I want to say was the Browns. They needed. I mean, they couldn't get worse, so I guess in that way they could have. They did just get a little bit better because of. But the team is still horrible. I mean, I don't know what.
They invested in the line at least, which is smart.
But not good players on the line. That's the problem. Like there's players like the Chargers got rid of a guy and the Browns picked him up. The Chargers have the worst O-line, and the guy that they let walk, signed him. I mean, it's like walking into a bear trap when there's like all these signs saying there's a bear trap around it. Like I just don't know.
Yeah, you're right. It was pretty.
But they still suck at quarterback, which maybe it's going to be Deshaun Watson. Sure. Maybe it's going to be Shedeur Sanders. I don't know. But like they still suck there. The wide receiver room doesn't really give you any good feels. And then they let Njoku walk, which is just going to be Fannin and Judkins, I guess. And that's the plan. But I don't know. And with this O-line, I just don't know.
You're right.
The Browns going to Brown.
No, but it's like they have 2 first-round picks this year. Like they should be legitimately making a move here. Which, by the way, we say that they lost that trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars. They traded for Mason Graham, and he wasn't even really that much. He wasn't really that good this year. It wasn't like they got a lot out of Schweisinger in the second round, but their first-round pick that they traded back for, Mason Graham, didn't really do that much. And so it's like, well, okay, might have just taken Travis Hunter and see what happened. I don't know.
Travis Hunter on this offense would be kind of fun.
I know. Yeah, I think you might be right. And he could probably slide in and work right away.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's been a really weird free agent.
Nah, I'm out of winners and losers, honestly.
Okay. Because, like, there's some people that haven't made any moves yet that I'm like, well, you're not really a loser, but you haven't really done much.
You could say technically the Eagles are losers because we lost 3 caliber starter, or 4 if you count Dotson. But like at the end of the day, we kind of knew it was happening. We weren't signing.
I know. I originally had Dotson penciled in as somebody to talk to about him being in Atlanta now, but hell, Mooney went there and it did nothing.
He has a chance to be wide receiver too, technically. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, well, we've seen how much that's meant the last couple of years, having the wide receiver 2 in Atlanta.
Oh, okay. All right, never mind. That's fair. I think you're talking Joe Dotson. I think Dotson's actually a good wide receiver. He just needs the right situation.
I loved Mooney when he went there, and then it was nothing. It just wasn't
he was
anything close
for a second, and then he wasn't.
Yeah. I just want to say shout out to my Bears. I was a little confused about what we were doing with free agency at first, but with the amount of players we were losing, I think we did a good job to set us up for the draft. Plugged a lot of holes that we were losing players at with decent players, good scheme fits. I kind of like what Ryan Poles did this year.
I'm still confused by the Kobe Bryant signing over Brisker and how somehow Jaquan Brisker is still a free agent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Bryant's more of the free safety. So if we could get Brisker back as strong safety, that'd be great.
Oh, he's still available technically.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. All right. That has been free agent signings talk. Next week, we'll, if we have any things that we need to update or talk about, if there's any big major moves, we'll kind of break in a little of that. But I don't expect unless there's a big trade that happens, obviously, I don't really see Kyler Murray moving the needle that much as far as what we're going to talk about. Next week, we are going to talk about a ADP. We're going to do off-season ADP check-in. We're just going to see how the moves have changed on the all the different sites that do these ongoing rankings throughout the season. We're going to kind of check in and see if there's anybody that's kind of surprising us and some people that maybe we are questioning why they're being boosted up or why they fell all the way off. So that's what we're going to do next week. Joe, get us out of here.
Good night.